Hello, welcome to Fiberchats. And I have a very special guest, a good friend of mine, Ellen Lewis, who is the owner of Crazy for You. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel.
Thank you, Irina. It's always so fun. I was excited to be here so we can chat about stuff.
Well, I mean, talking of stuff, right? Like I was basically thinking, we all, as knitters, we are very giving, we'll make stuff for others. When we're thinking about holidays, we're like, okay, what I'm going to make for my niece and what I'm going to make for my children, So we are thinking in terms of gifts for others. And I was thinking, what are the best gifts for us, for knitters, right? Like if you have a knitter in your life, or even to spoil yourself, or even if like your children or your husband want to be like, okay, what do you want for the holidays, right? To have that list. So you and I were talking, and you mentioned to me the big book from Macy's, was it? From your child?
Yeah. It was from Sears, the Christmas wish book.
Right. So you were trying to tell me, like, remember in our childhood? Yeah, I didn't remember that because my childhood was like all the way in Siberia, but
so funny. I was like, oh my God.
But I actually like know what you mean. So there was this big book from Sears, right, where you could just go like look through the catalog and pick up what you want, like make a wish list, sort of. So I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be great to have a wish list for knitters? So I was like, okay, who is the best person to talk about it with? I mean, we all know you're the best person. You have the store, you've been in that store for a while. You're a very discerning person, so you know what's really good and what you would pass on. So I was like, okay, I have to have Ellen back on my channel. So let's talk about best gifts for knitters today.
Okay, well, you're very sweet, so thank you. And I'm thrilled to talk about this. I mean, for me, like Christmas started when that wish book arrived. It was like, I don't know, it was like 1.5 inches thick, and the whole front was like tools and all their craftsman stuff. But like you get to the back and it was every toy, every toy, every craft thing that a kid could possibly want. And back in the day, it was, you had the boy toys and they had the girl toys, and you had, all the dangerous stuff that, they would never allow today, easy bake ovens and, rings and things with hot plates where kids could get severely burned, and just small chokeable parts.
I mean, you know what, like honestly, looking back at our childhood, like it's a surprise that we survived.
I can't believe I don't have 3rd-degree burns or poisoning or something. And all of this stuff we did, we were just completely left unattended to play with our chemistry set or whatever. I had a chemistry set because of course I did.
And not to mention no car seats, no seat belts, no
seat belts. Okay, so you grew up in, as you were saying, freezing yourself in Siberia. Did they have station wagons in Siberia when you were growing up? Did your family have a station wagon?
There was very few families who actually had personal cars back then. So, no.
So it was different. Okay, well, I was the only child. But a lot of my friends' families had these station wagons, which is like the front seats, and then the back is just this whole play place. You're just sitting back there while they're driving. You might as well be in the back of a pickup truck. Okay, completely dangerous. Like you say, it's amazing that we all made it here. So I actually put together for my customers, like my take on the Sears Christmas wish book. I call it the Crazy for You wish book. And, it's basically a PDF you can download, because I do think it's really hard for people who love knitters to please them. They want to, okay? They really want to, but walking into a yarn store or, ordering anything from anywhere, it's very hard to know what they want. So if the knitter can have this wish list and say, yes, this is what I want. Like I used to take my little marker and circle all the things that I wanted, and that was great. So, we could tell Santa. So if the knitter has this thing, they can circle, yeah, I want this, I want that, and then the person who is shopping for them can go in and say, all right, my loved one has selected all of these things. I would like to buy these two or whatever. So the idea is to really make it easy for people who are buying for knitters, and for knitters to actually get the thing that they want without causing too much stress. So
right. And the thing is, like, when people are very passionate about a hobby, right, it seems like it should be much easier to please them with like any purchase related to the hobby. So a few years ago, a friend of mine decided to surprise me with a basket for knitters. So she went to a local yarn store and she said, this is my budget, just fill the basket with like different yarns. And they put one skein of this and one skein of that. And there was like whole basket with one skeins. And I was like, okay, what on earth am I supposed to do with all of that, right?
right. And as knitters, we have very specific tastes. I mean, I know you well enough to know that if it's not filled with micro cobweb lace weight, you're not ever going to use it, right? Nobody should give you super bulky yarn because you're not going to knit a garter stitch scarf. And if it's a newer knitter, to give them lace weight would be like, oh,
Right.
panic inducing, right? So, I mean, it's nice to have some guidance for the people that we love, because the bottom line is they want to please you. They love you. They want to give you something that you really like. And I think a gift certificate is great, but it's nicer to have something that you can open that sort of says, hey, I know you, right? I get you. And we all want to feel understood,
So, okay, so let's say I took that PDF and I filled my wish list with all the things that I think I might need, right? And somebody came with this PDF to you. What's your favorite? It's like, what would you recommend?
Okay, so most of us who've been knitting for a bit have probably a set of interchangeable needles. So need in terms of, do I need another set of interchangeable needles? No, I probably don't need. But, Christmas and gift giving and holidays isn't necessarily about need. It's kind of about want. And so kind of two of the things that are new and really fun this year that people who maybe would like a more playful take on interchangeable needles, first of all, is this set from Lykke, and it's a lot of people call it Lykke. It's pronounced Lykke, and it means happy. Isn't that cute? But this is their color set, and it's been so incredibly popular just because it's fun. It's pretty. Yes, we all already probably have a set of interchangeable needles, but do you have one that looks like this, right?
And
so this is just
about interchangeable needles, like I do have a couple sets, right? So I feel guilty going and buying another set just because, but like, would I love that as a gift? Like, you bet.
Right. I mean, that's a whole thing, is that we tend not to think about frivolous things for ourselves. I see a lot of times knitters will come in and they'll have maybe their husband with them, and the husband will be like, well, you should get it. Well, I don't really need it, but you want it. Yeah, get it. I mean, that's what gift giving to me is all about, is you want to spoil the person with something that they might not indulge in for themselves.
Right.
I mean, I think there's this whole set of, am I worthy? Like people buying cashmere, am I worthy of cashmere? Yes, you're worthy of cashmere. You deserve it. Of course, you do so many nice things for everybody. And, if somebody gives you cashmere, you'll probably make something for somebody else anyway. But at least you'll have the pleasure of like knitting it, So this is really fun.
Besides the fun colors, is it like a really good set as well?
So I like it. I do actually really like the Lykke set as far as wood goes. I think they're really pretty. They have a nice sharp tip. And one of the things that people have really liked is the cables. They are like this clear silvery, but they're rotating. So a lot of people really like that rotating cable on this. And they are interchangeable with all of the others from the Lykke line. So, I mean, if you are a Lykke girl, if this is the line that you've invested in, like maybe you have the copper or you have the birch or whatever, they are all interchangeable. And if you're doing 2 at a time on 2 circular needles, it's really nice to have, a multicolored thing going on so you don't accidentally pick up the wrong tip when you're working.
It's actually very clever. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so it's really great. And I think it's also nice because a lot of times I know I'm getting older and I can't see without my reading glasses. You don't necessarily have to read the size on there. You know that, okay, the 4s are green.
Right.
And then, and you just kind of get that in your head. So that's something that I like. And this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, crazy, insane. Nobody should have this, and yet I want it so much. And this is for the people who are Addy devotees, right? This is the Addy unicorn. You saw this with me at H&H.
Yeah, we were like circling that set.
Right? Remember they had the little sheep with the unicorn horn on his. I thought that was so adorable. So this is, I mean, can you see that? Like the case is pink, right? My favorite color. And it's got this little unicorn embroidered on the front, which is adorable. And the case is this sort of magical, iridescent color and just super fun. And the needles are twisted like little unicorn horns.
I like those needles because they also give you like a little extra grip to them because of the twist, so they're not as slippery.
Yeah, they're not as slippery. And honestly, when the unicorn needles first came out, I think Addy made a tactical error in putting the standard turbo tip on them. So when turbos first came out, they were like the be all end all. And I still think they're great needles, but the turbo tip, people have moved away from wanting that kind of tip to wanting a much sharper tip. And the fixed unicorns came out with the turbo tip and people were like, yeah, no. But with the interchangeable set, they heard, they listened, and now the unicorn interchangeable set has that rocket, really pointy tip, which is amazing. So again, do you need these? No, absolutely not. I already have 3 sets of Addies. Am I going to get a set for myself? Oh, you bet. How could I not? They're pink and the cables are pink. It's just really, it's just really fun. And again, they are interchangeable. If you're an Addy girl with all of the cables, with all of the different Addies, that they have the same twist and click. So do you know what I mean? If you're trying to stay in. So those are 2 things that I think would really be nice to spoil a knitter in your life.
Well, let's talk about project bags because there is not enough project bags in any knitter's life. Like I don't know a single person who you can give a project bag or a knitting bag and they're going to be like, oh, I have enough. We all could use one more.
What's your favorite?
I'm like,
a tenty. Of course.
I love their fabrics. I love look at the inside. Like
I know.
really like velvety. And it just beautifully stitched. It's beautiful. Like each bag is like very unique, like piece of art. So, and I just use it like as my usual go around bag. It just might contain some knitting,
Exactly. And I love a tenty. You've met them before H&H, right? Yeah, I think I love that it's a mother-daughter, woman-owned. I mean, it's all handmade in the United States, and they really think about their work, from a knitter's perspective, but also it's very chic. Their stuff is super chic. I love that playful. They'll have a great pattern, and then they'll have this really fun, playful lining. Let me show you my favorite. So this one is called New York, and it's this ultra suede leopard. So that basket that you have is called the Hope basket. And, you can carry it like this and it's super chic and it's tall enough. But I love that you can roll it down and then, it just looks really cute. You can knit right out of it. And so I love these.
Like it's stable. It stands on you can just put it next to you and it's not gonna fall apart, fall.
Right. Right. It's not going to flop over. And it's got, they're really quality made. Sometimes people come in and they look at fabric bags and, maybe they're a talented seamstress or something and they think, well, I could make that. You know what? Maybe, but the quality of the fabric and the quality of the workmanship, I don't think that your average home sewer can duplicate that, And plus, it's a gift. It would be super nice. So anyway, I love that.
You have another favorite.
I do. Okay, so these are. I have two other favorites. Can I share both of them?
Oh, you can share 3. We are not limiting anybody here, right?
We're not limited. Okay, so were you with me at H&H when I talked with the gal who did the fibers of life?
Yep.
Do you remember that? Okay, these are beautiful. And I love a product with a story, right? I love the way that this gal, she's so about sustainability, and these bags are all handmade, fair trade, in Nepal. This is real leather on there, but she's so careful to tell you that the leather is from animals that died naturally. So, anyway, these are beautiful, and it holds a ton of stuff. And there's a little promotion where you get a little fabric notions bag that matches with each one. So those are the grab and go. And then these are the ombre totes that I also like because they're so colorful, and they have the different color blends that sort of blend into each other. And again, they have the leather and a matching doolally. So anyway, I think these are nice, and they're a good way to carry your stuff and still, kind of look chic, right?
Yeah.
The days of carrying frumpy knitting bags are like, nobody wants a frump. You know what I mean? Those ones that you see old ladies carrying.
And there are so many beautiful knitting bags these days that it's hard to choose. So I know you said that the story is important to you, but being an owner of the store, it must be difficult because you can buy them all for the store. How do you choose? How do you decide what you're going to carry in your store?
Well, I like to have a variety of price points. Okay, so I like to have some things that are, affordable, whether you're looking at something in a $50 range, if you're looking at something in the $100 range, if you're looking at something in a $150 range. And, just so that there's something for everyone, right? I don't want to have just one kind of, just one kind of price point. Everybody should be able to have something beautiful, regardless of what their budget is, So I got to tell you, this is our high end one, and it's gorgeous. This is from Delaque. These are the maker's satchels, and I would carry this as a purse.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. And that to me is huge, because sometimes I don't want to be carrying a knitting bag. I just want to carry a bag. I don't need everybody to know that I have 2 works in progress there. Just, and I love this because it's just very thoughtfully designed. It's got these great, closures, but it opens like a doctor's bag. Do you know what I mean? And when you put it on the floor, it stays open. Yeah. So, very structured, and I don't think it looks like a knitting bag at all. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful. I actually haven't seen that one. So
no?
If my family is watching, I can put that on my PDF.
So this comes in great colors. So this is, it's not really red, but this is called the red. There's a purple and a mustard and a navy, and oh yeah, they're gorgeous. Yeah, very, very thoughtfully constructed, very high quality, very different from the others. To me, those are clearly knitting bags, and this is more like an all-in-one kind of bag. I think this is great. I feel like I could be one of those fashion bloggers talking about, structured bag.
But the thing is, if you think about designer bags out there, they're so expensive that these, even with being, high end, it's still sort of affordable.
Yeah, I mean, they're well under $200. I
Right.
mean, so yeah, you couldn't find, if you had like a little designer logo on there, it
Right.
would be 3 times the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about the quality. And I love these. And I love leather, but if it were all leather, I feel like it would be too heavy. So the fact that this is canvas makes it not so heavy. And then you can put this strap over and you can carry it. And yeah, and I think you could wear this dressy or casual,
Right.
you know?
No,
So
I'm a big fan. I just discovered something for myself.
I'll
Well,
say one for you. What color do you like?
that one was actually speaking to me.
Yeah, me too. I have 2 black ones, and I'm pretty sure that the black has been discontinued, but I do have 2 black, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to pull one for myself.
Black sounds good also.
Right?
Well, let's talk about something smaller than a bag. Like,
Yes.
what else would tickle your fancy? What else do you think would be popular this season for knitters?
How small? Like this small? Is this too
What is
small?
it? What is it?
So this is really more a stocking stuffer, but I love this so much. I think everybody needs to have one of these. It is a Cocoa Knits stitch fixer. Okay. Now you took my intuitive knitting class on Row and Connect, right?
Yeah.
This is a double-ended crochet hook kind of thing,
Right. And I've seen those, but I
right?
don't have that. And I think it's a very clever tool, actually.
Well, it makes fixing mistakes in garter stitch so easy,
Right.
right? And you have 2 different sizes on here. I just think this is the greatest thing. You know, she should probably come out with one in like 14 karat gold, and then you could wear it like a pendant. Smaller things. I mean, this is an adorable one skein project. This Mary, she's the queen of accessories. She knit this up. This is a pattern called Nito, and it's really cute. It uses these dropped stitches in there. And this is worked with just one skein of Dream in Color Cosette, which is a beautiful DK weight cashmere blend from Dream in Color. I love this. I love this yarn. I love that the project just takes one skein. It's the kind of thing, that it's a smallish gift, but it would be very appreciated because the yarn is just so luxurious to knit with. And it's a cute little scarfalette, and if you wanted to do it bigger, you could absolutely do that. But this is a beautiful, really showcases the yarn. A lot of patterns are very fussy and they don't look good in a variegated or a hand-painted yarn, but I think this is one that showcases, that lets the yarn talk, right?
Well,
So
do you want to know what my newest discovered favorite tool of the year?
yes.
It's this contraption.
What is
One
that?
of those. So it's called Twizzter, with 2 Z's, and it's basically these 2 parts. So you take yarn, you put it on, you secure it like that, and then you can put it on your hand and walk and knit, or you can put it on some like lamppost, or for people in wheelchair, they can put it on the wheelchair so the yarn doesn't run away from you. So
That is brilliant.
yeah.
You know what else is great about that? It twists all the time, right? It's a
Right.
continual, yes. So a lot of times people run into trouble, they're pulling it off and it gets all twisty or untwisty. That
Yeah.
solves that. That is brilliant.
Yeah, and it's actually the Twister sisters. They were guests of my channel, so it's their invention. Their father created it for their mother, and now they selling this tool.
I love that. Do they have that available? I'd love to get those for the shop.
Yeah, I'm gonna introduce you.
Yeah, that would be
the
great. Those are super cute.
And you
Yeah.
know what else I absolutely love?
What?
These tiny scissors. I feel like
Ooh.
everybody needs the tiniest, cutest scissors, because like we always clipping some yarn somewhere, like whether it's like loose ends or something. Like this is one of my favorites. Like they look how adorable they are.
That is beautiful. Yeah, that is really cute. Do you think that would pass security, or could you carry that in
Yeah,
your carry?
I think so because they're so tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, they have something like 3-inch blade issues, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then another thing that like I absolutely cannot live without as soon as I discovered that are those Barber cords. And
Yes.
you can see it on my sleeves right now, all on the Barber cords. So anytime you need your stitches held, like I find like I have them in every color somehow. Like I feel like I'm collecting them. So those are yellow, like they come in this what color is that? Like turquoise?
Aqua?
Yeah, aqua. And then I have like purple, hot pink, like I have all different colors for that. So it's also like one of my favorites. And then like my latest obsession, look at those.
What is that?
It's the
Oh,
needle.
they're stitch stoppers. Oh, is that a llama?
It's a
Or
lot.
oh my God, is your mama a llama? It's so cute.
I love the stitch stoppers, and the good thing about them that they can go into like on any size needles. So like there's this cute little
Look
stool.
at that. Oh, that's adorable.
So I
See,
love
knitters are great, like stocking stuffers for knitters.
right.
That is like the most fun thing.
Yeah. And I think like if you like every knitter would appreciate something small and cute like that, and it's something we all can use, you know, and there's never like too much of it. Like you
Right.
can have some stitch markers, like these are my new favorite stitch markers because you can put them on fine lace, so you can put them on sweater. They have this like big loop,
Yes.
but it's super thin wire. So like you can have 100 of those markers, and you know, I'm sure stitch markers have the tendency of disappearing like the second sock kind of in the
Right. Well, they're like, I think stitch markers are like jewelry for your knitting. You know, while you're knitting it, it's one of those things that makes the process so pleasurable. You know, I mean, we're so visual, we're so tactile, you know, it's about the process and having those fun little the stoppers and the stitch markers. It makes it so fun. I mean, that's part of why we do what we do, right?
Well, you also mentioned like during your class with Row and Connect, you mentioned that like understanding of the fabric, right, that you create. That was one of the main parts that you were trying to explain the orientation of stitches and how to read your fabric and how to spot those mistakes and how to fix those mistakes. If you stop to admire those stitch markers, you just might find that mistake a couple rows faster.
I always tell newer knitters too, you know, every row, spread it out and look at it and say, oh, what a good job I did, you know, just to look at it because, you know, part of it is just getting familiar with what the stitches should look like so that you can spot that, you know, it's huge. I mean, it takes time, but yeah, looking at those stitch markers and admiring them, you might be like, oh yeah, look at that. The stitch marker is beautiful, but that stitch is not so much.
It's also like part of evolution of a knitter, right? Like when you first knit, you just stress over like getting to the end of the project. As you mature, it becomes more about enjoying the process than making another scarf, you know, or another shawl. So the joy of the knitting becomes the more important than the final project. And I find that like with all those little tchotchkes, it just brings that much joy, you know, and to have some luxurious skein of yarn. So let's talk about luxurious skein of yarn. If somebody was looking for something super luxurious, what would you suggest?
Clinton Hill cashmere. It's beautiful. I don't think there is a finer cashmere on the planet. It is spun in Italy. I love that it's a woman-owned company. She's a young mother, and she's, you know, Rebecca. You know Rebecca, right? I think she's fabulous, and she does a really great job with that. And you know, I want to go back to what you were talking about with the knitting being a pleasure, and what you said earlier, that knitters are generous. I think that you kind of nailed it right there, because we knit because it is a joy for us. The process is pleasurable, and we love to share that with someone else. I mean, we don't necessarily need one more shawl or one more whatever, but we love to make, we love to create, and then we want to give that to someone because the process is pleasurable, but also when you know that you're giving it to somebody else, I think you're thinking about them that whole time, and you're, I don't know, it's going to sound really crazy, but you're kind of working yourself and your love and your emotion into that thing that you are making for them, you know? So that's why knitters are so generous, right? Don't you think?
Well, otherwise it doesn't make any sense, because you and I talked briefly, and we're gonna do an episode on Ellen's channel. So you guys want to go right now and subscribe to Crazy for You, so you're not gonna miss that, where we talk about knitters math, because not necessarily buying yarn, buying all those needles and spending hours upon hours of knitting adds up in a profitable product, right? Like you can go to Target and buy socks for $3 a pair, or you can knit them with, you know, for $30 plus the time that it takes to knit the socks, you know. So it's all about the joy of knitting, for sure. I
Yeah,
want to ask you
absolutely.
another thing though, like when I'm thinking of perfect gifts for knitters, I'm thinking of stitch dictionaries or some knitting books. Do you have some favorite knitting books?
Absolutely. So this is one of those books that is, it's a splurge. It's a $60 book, but it is so beautiful. And I think it really sort of helps people understand all of the possibilities out there. I love Sequence Knitting by Cecelia Campochiaro. It like really opened my eyes to kind of understanding stitch patterns and all of the ways that the number of stitches in the row impact the stitch that you create. You're familiar with this book, right?
Yeah, and Cecilia was a guest of my channel. So if you guys want to learn more about her, you can just look up that interview.
Yes, I love hearing her speak. I had the pleasure of meeting her at H&H, and she's just amazing. The way her mind thinks, she's so, the way her mind works, she's just so intuitive about it and thoughtful, and just really approaches knitting with this incredible curiosity. Well, what would happen if I did this? What would happen if I did this? And so she takes you on that journey in this book, like what is the garter stitch? What does that do over, you know, how many stitches and how many rows? And you know, the multiple, like if you're doing knit one, purl one, well, yeah, it's different if you're doing that in a multiple of 2 or a multiple of 2 plus 1, or, you know, and all of those kinds of things. So it's a little bit mathy, but you don't have to understand the math to get the value of this book. And if you have a beautiful skein of yarn or a couple beautiful skeins of yarn, and you're really not sure what you want to do with it, this is a great book. You can just sort of flip through and see all of these incredible patterns, and you're like, oh, I like that one. I'm going to cast on a multiple of, you know, 7 plus 3, and I'm going to get this. And this sequence knitting is so beautiful because you don't have to think about every row. You know, it creates its pattern based on this same stitch sequence that you do every single row. So it's not hard. It doesn't make you a slave to the pattern, but it's not boring either. And that is like the sweet spot for me, you know?
Right.
So that's my favorite book. If you can get a copy of that to a knitter in your life, I think they would love you forever.
I have a favorite book also. So this is Knitting Comfortably. It's by Carson Demers. And what I like about it, anytime you knit for a prolonged period of time, there's some aches and pains that are starting to happen. And he shows you the tiniest changes that you can make. It's not completely life-changing. It's not something like you don't need to buy a new sofa to knit on. He shows you like what small adjustments you can make to how you hold your needles, how you think about knitting, like what you pay attention to, like how you grappling this the needles. And or even how you're sitting, right? And just being aware to all of those things make huge difference. So you don't have to make tremendous changes. You can just make tiny changes in how you knit, and it's gonna save your health for years to come and gonna help you knit more comfortably. So highly recommend this book. And you can get it on his website. So it's Carson Dimmer's Knitting Comfortably. It's actually cheaper on his website than on Amazon. I think Amazon charges some ridiculous amount of money for that, but
Good to know.
Yeah.
Does he talk about, like, I find that when I'm having a knitting marathon, and it's funny, I haven't knit that much stuff, but like I knit a lot of swatches, I'll sit there and I'm, it's, you get this tennis elbow because you're constantly in that. Does he talk about that?
So the thing about Carson, he is actually a physical therapist, and he's a knitter. So he knows all of it. Like, he knows about proper posture. He talks a lot about taking breaks, because doesn't matter how good your posture is, if you're knitting for 6 hours nonstop, you're going to develop some repetitive injuries. So he talks about the importance of taking breaks, about stretching. He gives you all different exercises there. So really a wonderful resource for any crafter out there. You don't even have to be a knitter. It can be used for other crafts as well.
Yeah, people who are doing cross stitch or crocheting or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's a really good tip. Thank you. Another thing that I think is fun for knitters that maybe people who are buying for them don't appreciate or understand is the experience, to give a knitter an experience. Like if there was a knitter in your life that wanted to go to Vogue Knitting Live, say, to give them that experience, or if there was a class, like I'm doing a coconuts class, if that's something that you wanted to do, you could tell somebody, say, I really want to take this class. I need the book. I need, I need the yarn, I need the class. Or if you're going to Vogue Knitting, hey, I need a hotel room. I need, money for the weekend. I need the VIP package.
Well, and if that's not in your budget, which is that's an expensive festival to visit if you don't live in New York, you can also, there's a lot of online mini festivals. So Vogue Knitting has online classes. Row and Connect has online classes where you are teaching. So people people who cannot afford to go to a festival or to the live events or retreats, they can take classes with the same instructors in the privacy of your own home for fracture of the cost. So sometimes just gifting those classes also can be a great experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. Digital classes are huge. And, the thing about it is when you take a digital class, then, depending on the platform, then you own it, then it's there for you to reference again and again, which is really, really nice.
Right. And another thing about digital class versus live class is that you can actually see, because of the camera, right? You can actually, every single person can see the hands of the instructor, and you can stop and rewatch if you didn't understand something. So it's not something that you see instructor doing over there in that corner. You can see it right next and close up in details,
That has been a game changer for me. Before COVID, I wasn't doing a lot of online or virtual classes. I had people say, I wish you would video this, I wish you would do that. But videotaping a live class is not what you're getting when you have a digital class. I don't know that a videotape or, they're not tapes anymore, but a video of a live class would be even a useful thing, but something that is created specifically for that audience, like you say, where you have the close-up of the hands and the motions and the stitch and everything else, it's huge. And it almost, in some ways, is a superior experience to an in-person event,
Right. Well, tell me more about this PDF. Is it already available, or is it going to be available soon?
No, it's available. You can, I'll give you a link and people can, click on that, and it's a PDF and it's got pictures and links and all this stuff. And, I just think it's fun to sort of get your people's creative juices flowing and thinking about, what you what you might be interested in, you know?
So I want to know what you guys will find in that PDF. I'm going to put that link in the description of this video. Please take a look at it. See if you can mark it for yourself, give it to your loved ones, so maybe they'll surprise you with some interesting Christmas gifts, and share it with us in the comments, because I'm sure you, Ellen, and I'm definitely very interested in hearing what do the knitters want for gifts this season. So please write the comments, like what's your dreams for this holiday season. I want to thank you. So I'm coming to your channel very soon. You guys go to Crazy for You, give Ellen a follow so you don't miss that episode. And if you want to watch my interview with Ellen, just go to the search and it's there. So you can get to know everything about Ellen. Well, at least like some of the things I got to know about Ellen in that interview.
Well, you're so sweet, Irina. Thank you so much. It's been really fun to be here with you and kind of talk about our favorite stuff. And I do hope that knitters will, think about ways that they would like to treat themselves, or to have people that love them have the pleasure of giving them something that pleases them, because there's a great deal of pleasure in pleasing someone you love. So, giving somebody the opportunity to get you something that you really, really want is kind of a gift in its own.
Right. Well, thank you so much for being my guest today, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.
I can't wait. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.